Welcome to this video showing the day in the life of Barbara Getty. She's a resource manager who utilizes the Excel interface, or XLI for short, to perform a routine PPM task faster and more accurately. The previous video, available on our website, ppmetrics.com, showed the day in the life of a project manager. Additionally, on our site, you'll find additional videos showing the various modules more in depth. But before we officially meet Barbara, let's take a step back and briefly describe what the XLI is all about. So the tagline for the tool is flexibility of Excel with the governance of PPM. So the XLI is an alternative UI to the native browser-based UI for PPM. It provides a much more faster and accurate data management experience. Possesses some unique PPM transaction shortcuts, which we'll demo a little bit later on. It also has some special control features that are not available with the out-of-the-box PPM. And most importantly, all key PPM user transactions are covered. Now let's go meet Barbara. She's a resource manager who manages 2 resource pools. She maintains their pool capacities. She also assigns resources from incoming staffing profile requests. And as information about her resources change, she keeps that information up to date in PPM. And she also generates resource management metrics and reports for her higher-ups. Now let's see the XLI in action. So I'll tab over to the XLI. So to the end user, it's simply an Excel spreadsheet. So before I can actually utilize the tool, I need to go ahead and authenticate. So before I authenticate as Barbara, I want to note that if your PPM implementation is utilizing single sign-on, we can completely bypass this screen. So go ahead and log in as Barbara. So after we authenticated, the XLI exposes the sheets that we can work with. So we have sheets down here for financial summaries, but the rest are resource management related. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the Resource Pool Participation tab. So this is a tab that's used to manage membership or participation in resource pools, which helps define resource capacity. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the search icon as indicated by the magnifying glass. So we have some filters to search for our resources. So we'll keep it simple. We'll actually look for members of a particular pool. Type in the first couple of letters, then hit tab to autocomplete, and we'll work with the STA2 pool. Do a search, and these are all the resources that belong to that particular pool. I'll click on select all, and hit go. Let's go ahead and download all that resource information into the spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and maybe modify the participation of this STA pool by redrawer from 90 to 80. We'll reduce that. And for Henry, we'll change participation in child global pool to a different pool. So one common use case we see a lot is when there's reorgs, and that requires people to change the resource pools for a bunch of resources. So how can you actually do that using the XLI? We can use that using the bulk update feature. So we click on the binocular icon. We can replace existing pool memberships from STA2, in our example, to STA3. Click on OK. So you can see in the background, it's updated information. Now when I click on the save icon as indicated by the disk, it's going to actually save those changes in real time back into PPM. So all we've been doing so far is actually making changes offline. So now in order to make the change back in real time, I'll click on the save icon. So you can see in just a few seconds, I was able to move 50 resources between 2 pools and make a few quick changes as well in the meantime. There are some unique features associated with this tab. So for example, we can automatically clear future staffing profile assignments when a resource gets pulled out of a pool. We can also limit the number of pools a resource can become a member of. Next, we'll jump over to the staffing profile tab. So this is a tab that's designed as a one-stop shop for planning and assigning resources. So as a project manager, I will do the planning side of it. But as a resource manager, I'm going to go ahead and do the assignment portion of that resource management equation. So up top, we have something called slicers. So this allows us to define what type of staffing profiles we want to work with and how to display that information. So for example, we're working with project staffing profiles. We're looking at information for calendar year 2021, and we're looking at information in months and by FTEs. So once those slices have been selected, we can click on the search icon. So now we'll go ahead and search for staffing profiles for our different projects. So we have some filters up here. But for example, we're going to look at staffing profiles, and staffing profile lines contain requests to a particular pool. So I'll type in the first couple of letters of that pool. Hit tab to utilize the autocomplete. Select the global pool. And I'm also required to select the different statuses of the different lines against that pool. So I'll select all statuses, then hit search. And here are the different staffing profiles I can work with that contain lines against this particular pool. So as I click each different staffing profile, you see below, these are the different lines or positions in that pool. And you can see which ones are requesting for global. So I can select multiple staffing profiles, and it shows me all the different staffing profile lines associated with those pools at once. And I can select all those lines and bring them down into the spreadsheet, which is a little bit different from PPM. We have to work at it one at a time. But for simplicity's sake, let's go ahead and click on just one staffing profile, the 2021 email server migration, and select all the different staffing profile positions to download into the spreadsheet. Once that information has been downloaded, that's where the fun begins, so to speak. I can go ahead and update the data as fast as my fingers allow. I can utilize Excel features such as copy and paste and drag and drop. Go ahead and show that. So we'll find something with a demand balance. Here's one. So we have a demand balance for this business analyst position. So maybe I'll go ahead and assign Andy Brown some more to this position. So as you can see, most of the information here is actually in read-only because that's the forecast information that's done by the project manager. And all I'm doing is doing the assignments. So I just did a drag and drop. And for this example, I'll do a copy paste. So I just updated some existing assignments. So how do I handle new assignments? I'll go ahead and show you how that works. We'll find some requests. We see here we're looking for a program manager and a QA engineer. And specifically, we're asking for Lisa Wong and Mary Connors. So we'll go ahead and assign those resources to this position. I also want to note that the Excel allows me to assign any number of requests all at once, even if they belong to different staffing profiles. In this case, we're just working with one staffing profile though. So I'll select multiple lines and click on the assign icon. And the XLI is going to ask me, do I want to automatically assign these specific resources requested for this position? Go ahead and click on yes. And the XLI assigned Lisa Wong and Mary Connors to positions and assigned it to the fullest extent of their capacity. So for Lisa's sake, she was fully available for the forecasted amount, for requested amount, 0.8 FTEs. But for the QA engineer portion, 1.0 was requested, so 1 FTE, but Mary Connors, based on her availability, the Excel was only able to assign 0.95. So for whatever reason, perhaps Mary Connors had some vacation on her individual calendar, the FTE or availability became 0.95. But we know for practical reasons, she is actually available full time. So what we can do is actually utilize a feature called Clear Unmet Demand. So this is a little button that we have up here, the little scale icon. Once we click on that, it clears the unmet demand, and we can fully assign Mary Connors to the 1 FTE being requested for the QA engineer position. So change from 0.9 to 1 FTE. And when I click on save these changes in real time back into PPM. The Staffing Profile tab has a lot more features, but I think you can see the general behavior or gist of it. So what we're doing is basically acting on a number of roles all at once, and we utilize all the familiar and powerful features that Excel provides. Now I'm going to jump over to the User tab. So when I click on the search icon, we can run a couple of different filters. What we're going to do here is actually just update a few general resource characteristics for a couple of users. So we'll find some users we want to work with. Just download a few. So I downloaded some resources into the XLI. Go ahead and maybe change some information about them. So let's just pretend Amir and Amrish became contractors. Perhaps they moved to Canada. Click on save, and we'll save those changes right back into PPM. Next, we'll jump over to the Report tab. So what exactly is the Report tab? So the XLI possesses a reporting wizard, which allows users to build their own custom PPM reports without any coding involved. So we're going to pretend that as Barbara Getty, we need to run a pre-configured resource utilization report that she provides through her managers. So I'll run the report. I need to actually specify a couple of filters. I'm going to run report, resource utilization report from July to the end of the year. And this is going to be for resources and pools that I manage. Click OK. And XLI runs the report. So this is a pretty simple report, and we can see based on the bar graph for July and September, we're overutilizing our resources a little bit. And since it's Excel, it's possible to include some pretty sophisticated reports, including Power BI. Let me go ahead and conclude the demo. As you can see, the XLI makes key PPM transactions easier, more accurate, and dare I say it, even more fun. For example, as a resource manager at Barbara, I was in about 5 minutes able to update resource capacity, assignments, and resource records of multiple resources. I was even able to generate a report for my management. For that reason, the XLI has been widely adopted by many of the top PPM customers in Europe, America, and Australia. So whether you're an existing customer or not, working for a small or large organization, please feel free to contact us for all your micro-focused PPM needs. Thank you.